be?
Yes.
Alright, what I was gonna say is the objective charge doesn't have a hoverlink until the very last word of the um, sentence, I
Hmm.
guess, but it's mentioned before the hoverlink shows up. So I think it just has to be kind of reordered for Realm Guard in
I see what you're saying.
such a way where the hoverlink appears first. Um, but I mean, as far as all the information is concerned, it seems pretty.
It'll probably
Uh,
come in when it says objective charge for the first time. I'll just note that on the ability. And there we go.
away we go.
And away we go, boys.
Boys.
Bro boys. Beat boys. Sing boys.
Slumber.
What boys? We're back, boys.
Billy Black Bombs.
Bebo Black Bomb.
B-Boy Blackling Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Weeper Splitter.
Reap Spear.
Weeper Splitter.
Yeah. I can see some of the places where like the mounts could have been better designed or the class in general could have been better designed, but I'm fairly okay with what we've got.
I was kind of looking at the ultimate, and there's probably something better
Mm-hmm.
because it encourages your mounts dying, I guess,
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of your abilities revolve around switching a mount out before it's gonna die,
Yeah.
so you can use it later for some sort of benefit, like Garcelle switching in for free, or Raleigh getting an extra attack if she switches in while you've triggered the flying.
Right. I think that that's something that we'll get to look at again because we won't have anything past rank 5 in the demo anyway. Speaking of, why don't we go back through the other human classes and see what's happening or has happened in terms of design since last we checked through?
Things and stuff and things.
Yeah, it was something we said we were going to do, so. Let's go looky there. Human resources, design team.
Oh,
Grace.
do you have a sort of like idea of how you're gonna introduce the game's mechanics to people who are considering buying it? Like kind of back of the box type, you know. This would be like a log line.
Thought a little bit. Semi introduction in our current design document, but I haven't spent a ton of time on it now.
Makes sense.
Okay. All right. Let me send you the human skill trees, and we'll start at the Lost Rider. Do 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 do. When attacks make deal damage, double the damage dealt. If at the beginning of your next turn, you roll the roll, which unless you may cast more at free of cost. That's not very interesting. It's good, but it's not very interesting.
Um, but right now, the cost of it is kind of 8 mana, and then it's free if you stay. So then the cost is not moving later,
Right.
like in later turns to make it more uh, effective, I guess. Not necessarily effective, but cost effective.
Right.
Um, so maybe we can play with that idea with using your own movement as a cost instead of as a benefit. You know, like it's removing a cost if you choose to stay instead of being the cost itself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how we go about doing that. Like, I think the reason we wanted to do the double damage thing is because this guy is um kind of like critical, I guess, like critical strike type person, but we didn't want to put any RNG in it.
Right. Yeah. I think I remember that as well. We definitely wanted to have him have some restrictions on how he could move or how mobile he could be. We want him to stay still.
Because he's a very conservative type character, and he wouldn't just kind of like, you know, leave all of his duties behind him. He would stay and do everything he could.
Yeah. We cast forward. So I don't know. I'm thinking about this ability. What damage? Double the damage dealt. At the beginning of your next turn on the road, which lets you recast forward free of cost.
Well, what sort of damage is the morphine doing right now?
Um, I don't know.
'Cause
That's a good question.
we did that class, right? We did the morphine.
Yeah, we did.
Because I mean, like double damage isn't necessarily a fun thing unless you like seeing bigger numbers from one character. But you know, we need to know what sort of numbers we're talking about before we.
Attack target enemy in range, then attack target enemy in range. If you've received damage from a target of rank 1 ability name before the beginning of your next turn, that damage has double its base weapon threshold.
That's just straight up more interesting
You
than this
gain
one.
weapon threshold equal to the damage modified in this way until you would next receive damage.
Yeah, that's just a better designed ability than what we have here. It's everything from, you know, the character to the entire design of the kit. Like,
Until end of turn, attacks that you make. You attack twice whenever you would attack. It kind of trivializes the reap stacks, though.
oh, it it turns your active into just another attack, which is kind
Yeah.
of like,
Till end of turn.
what what is I forgot what the like identity of this class was.
Just holding still and being like a sheriff that watches over other people.
And the first five abilities were pretty self-centered, and then these last were ally-centered.
Yeah. What is this class missing?
Well, I think as far as melee DPSs are concerned, their first ability usually is some sort of nuke because you want players to feel like they're a damage dealer at level 1.
Yeah. trying to figure out how to make the thing trigger off at the enemy. It can't be the same enemy because that's a cavalier thing.
I was gonna say that it would trigger on enemies who attack anyone but you, but like you're kind of a good target to attack.
On turn, when attacks you make deal damage. What if it was? Do 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 do.
Good idea. What if it was
Do do do
25
do do do.
years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope.
Till end of turn, when attacks that you make deal damage, double the damage dealt. Attack, target, enemy who you have already attacked.
Or double damage. That's not really fun.
Attack target enemy who you have already attacked. 20% trouble. Double Brian, the reason people use Twitter is because it's just a very quick means of getting in touch with someone.
You use Twitter for what? For streaming?
I use Twitter to update people about when the stream's going live generally. Most people have Twitters, most professional individuals, at least in our business, have Twitters to try and get in touch with them. Because it's more like, unlike with email where you have to read through paragraphs and paragraphs sometimes, it's just very quick 160 characters. I mean, you can read tweets from like 100 people during the course of a day. Whereas if you had to read 100 emails, it would just be mind-boggling trying to deal with it. Yeah, you're right, Double Brian. Though it is very feels like sometimes there's speed bumps all along the way to contacting someone. Attack target enemy you have already attacked this turn. Attack target enemy, period.
And that's good because if someone was on the front row and moved to the back row, you could still hit them.
Yeah, I think there's already an enemy like, an ability like this in the goblins though. Attack target enemy.
The vagrant.
Receives double damage if you have already attacked them this turn.
Institution.
Increase double damage from allies if you already attack them this turn.
Never receives a damage from allies. So,
That feels a little bit closer to the identity of the class.
yeah. It could end up being unbalanced, but depending on your team comp.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's easily fixed by just kind of like only letting like one or two instances of attacks go through before it stopped doubling.
Yeah. We'll leave. Do you think there's any point in leaving it? The original idea here?
Even what?
The original idea, the second line of text, the one that's separated by a space.
It's a light of turn when attack heroic double the damage dealt. Oh wait, isn't that the one that we're replacing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I want to replace it.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Alright. Forage. Whenever you cast Forage, receive one of the buffs listed below, then attack target enemy in range. If at the beginning of your next turn you are on the road when you last use this ability, you may choose one buff from the list below and exclude it when casting. Bandage, gain X HP and X mana. HP and mana gain this way can overheal or overfill. Gain X HP and X mana, where X is the last instance of damage you dealt. Period. Forage, comma, attack, target, attack, target, enemy, then receive one of the buffs listed below. Target enemy in range. Okay. On your next attack, you may attack with an additional weapon as though you were dual wielding. Alright, we have to get rid of this one. Makeshift weapon icon. You may choose another modifier to add to your next attack. This effect stacks. You may choose another modifier to add to your next attack. This effect can stack. Beginning of your next turn, you get a morale charge. You may expend morale charges for your act to become immune to interaction. Instead, we should do you are immune to disables. Huh. That's kind of you, Double Brian. Taunts. Redirection. Sort. During next attack. Alright. What do you think of the new forage? Getting drunk is...
Or read it, sales, toss, redirection, any sort. during your next attack, so you can't be like interrupted.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. Doesn't like stop, you know, things like the old version of silence that would silence the next thing they did.
Right.
But, so we have to make sure that any sort of damage mitigation from tanks is something along these lines.
Right.
Because that's what this ability is supposed to do, and it just wouldn't feel important if there was exceptions to it.
Right. There might be like one tank who can counter it, but I think it would be on the rather than being a majority of effects, it'd be in the small minority. Okay. When order for each turn, the Lost Rider ends on the same row that he ended on the turn before. He receives a Reap stack. When the Lost Rider attacks, he may spend up to 3 Reap stacks. The Lost Rider makes an additional attack against the enemy if he is targeting. Sorry. The enemy he is targeting for each stack expended in this way. And then he can pass Reap stacks if he uses them all at once.
Rape stacks.
Indeed. Thresh. Attack target enemy in range. If that enemy is currently targeting an ally in your row, and this ability resolves first on the stack, you may increase the damage threshold of your primary weapon by the damage that enemy deals. I still think this ability is interesting. I don't know if it's the best implementation for it, but I think it's interesting for sure.
Like, you're interesting. For sure.
Attack target enemy in range. If that enemy is currently targeting an ally in your row and this ability resolves first on the stack, you may increase the damage threshold of your primary weapon by the damage that enemy deals. Target enemy in range. Attack target enemies in range. If an enemy or enemies are currently targeting allies on your row, and this ability resolves first on the stack. If enemies are currently targeting allies on your row, and this ability resolves first on the stack, you may increase the damage threshold of your primary weapon by the damage to those enemies. What deal? Come on, then attack those enemies. This threshold increased to please by the amount of damage you would deal whenever you would deal damage.
How can more than one enemy target an ally?
Stack.
Guess. I don't know why they would do that. Why wouldn't they just wait for...
If an enemy or enemies are currently targeting allies on your row, an ally or allies, and this ability results from on stack, you may increase the damage threshold of your primary weapon by the damage that this damage would deal.
Wait, isn't it? Okay, so that'd be if an ability targets like two people. It wouldn't be an AoE because AoEs don't target allies.
Right.
Targets rows.
If enemy or enemies are currently
So,
targeting an ally or allies on your row, you may increase the damage threshold of your primary weapon by the damage that those enemies would deal. Then attack those enemies. This threshold increase depletes by the amount of damage you deal whenever you would deal damage. Cool. So you can use it to counterattack enemies that are attacking your allies on your row. Once per combat cycle, when an enemy would attack your row, you may intercept that attack and begin a duel with that enemy. When dueling, both combatants have a 50% chance of winning the duel. For each group stack that the Lost Strider possessed at the beginning of a duel.
I like that ability.
Chance by 7%. Yeah, I think it's pretty well balanced. Ends up being pretty good for the Lost Strider in the long run. You might have to balance, but we'll see. Obloth's not bad. Gives your allies the buff, and the buffs are better now. Breach. Attack target enemy in range. This attack's damage is doubled before. After Breach resolves, you must move to the back row immediately unless you choose to allow two or more allies on the row behind you to split an additional payment of Breach mana cost or 4 room stacks. Unless two or more allies on the row behind you. Enemy range stacks damage double before. After Breach resolves, you must move to the back row immediately unless two or more allies on the row behind you split payment of Breach's mana cost. If you are on the back row when you cast this ability, comma,